Top il-full ma' Bradley Kakija.
Merħba l-episodju ieħor ta' Top il-Full, jiena Bradley Kakija, u bħal kull ġimgħa se nkunu qed niddiskutu tema relatata mal-Malti, u f'dal każ din il-ġimgħa se nkunu qed nitkellmu ma' żewġ persuni missier u bint illi jgħixu f'diaspora Maltija, propju fl-Ingilterra. Daw ma' Carmelo Micallef u Julie Brown Micallef, right? U bażikament se nkun qed nitkellem magħhom dwar l-esperjenza ta' Carmelo li talaq minn Malta u li mar joqgħod barra u l-esperjenza tiegħu mal-lingwa u kif din evolviet, u mbagħad ma' Julie kif din għaddiet lila bħala bint Malti, avolja qatt ma għexet Malta fil-sens qatt ma kibritx Malta. U ħankunu qed nisploraw daqsxejn din ir-relazzjoni partikolari mal-lingwa. Mela, se nkun qed neqleb bejn Malti u l-Ingliż, ħalli tifmuni it-tnejn li intom, għaliex Carmelo għadek tiftakar naqra Malti. Imma Julie, you haven't, as in Maltese is not, you were raised in England after all.
Yes.
So we'll adapt accordingly and switch. Mela, ħanibda minnek Carmelo. Introduċi li l-ek innifsek, forsi meta tlaqt minn Malta u tina daqxie idea dwarek.
Jena tweled San Juan u kbert San Juan.
Pali.
Fil-1934. Fil-1938 il-familja ħadda disgrazzja kbira u mbabdet il-gwerra. Fil-gwerra batejna bil-ġuħ. Imma meta nħares lura fl-istess ħin ma naħseb li batejna daqs nisara. Għax kena l-għaliqi u kena t-sijiet kienu jajnuna, naħa wahda, naħa rara kienu ma tantx jajnuna. U insomma, ma niftakar nieka li zjed fil-kamra fejn kena tal-annimali mill-li fil-ċina. Għax ma kienawx tikol. U kont mqareb ħafna.
Bħal ħafna tfallu.
Le ma kont daqsxejn iżjed. Miskin ummi kienet taqfilni ġewwa. Kien nitla fuq il-bejt, naqbis ħalalqa u nitlaq. U mbagħad meta spiċċajt mill-iskola imbdelt tal kollox. Bdejt naħdem, kien wieħed jara nilgħab fl-ifsinar, għalli biex imur magħhom mal-belt, under 18, u għam istaġġem magħhom.
Sawa.
U mbagħad il-ħbieb rridu n-sliema, puttawni biex nirreġistra mis-sliema. Ma rridx tal-PPM kien dak iż-żmien. Imma forzawni u firmajt, mbagħad ġew għalija taħal Balzan. Bil-lejn, kunna għilla raqdin, insomma morru ta' ma staġim maħħom.
Sewa.
U bdejn nitallem il-kornetta, San Ġiljon. Kont kważi noħroġ, u tallem dil-gitarra. Pero ma kont indoq primi. Kent kelli wahda Spanjola, kien jisimha Verde Luna. U kont nħobb indaqqa ħafna.
Sawa.
U fil-coronation labna daqqana l-gitarri, ma minn kien jgħallimni. San Ġiljan kien hemm ta' Journey Bar.
Sawa.
U kien hemm nies ma dik l-għadin kull darba daqqajt fil-public. U insomma, mbagħad ix-xogħol mur tajjeb ukoll, għax meta kelli 18 sena kienu jtuna ħafna responsabilità, anka meta kont żgħir magħhom. U meta kelli 18 sena, għamluni foreman, għamil ground tal-Mostra. U kont nusa dynamite. Nissallu biex tuża dynamite, timur l-università. U mbagħad severtu, mort gitarra.
Ta' 18 sena.
U mor doqgħod f'East London, post, insomma, ħażin ħafna u kont tħalt tkun toqgħod hemm, ma tidħol minn ma trid.
Mhux hekk?
Ħafna imbarazz, però qatt ma intħalt fija jien.
Aha.
U mbagħad bdejt naħdem ma' kumpanija u il-ħadd tal-lura soffrejt ħafna bil-rejx. Imma qatt ma ħadna kontrija, mhux kien hemm minnu favuri.
Fimtek.
U kien hemm kontrija, tifhem? Meta għamlu ninsuq il-maċin, ma rridux jofu jekk hux tajb ħażin. Rridu jkeċċuni għax
Inti kont sejjer minn pajjiż kolonja ta' mek.
kien dak iż-żmien fuq it-twieqi kienu jagħmlu no Irish, no blacks and no dogs. Hekk kien. U insomma mbagħad għamlu uniforme, mbagħad set supervisor. Għamel 30 sena supervisor. U spiċċajt bħala troubleshooter mal-Ingilterra kollha.
Okay.
Anka kont mur Amsterdam, kellhom trouble hemm
Sawa.
sew kumpanija u bagħtu lili biex
Solvi l-problemi.
ngħidhom. Mbagħad nirritorjajt insomma.
Sawa. U l-lum kemm għandek żmien illum?
92 tal-waqt.
X'inhu?
92.
92. Jiġifieri ara kemm għandek min jafx memori u esperjenzi u wara 18 sena għadek tiftakar il-Malti u għadek tużaħ tajjeb.
Malti kulħadd jgħid hekk, però pereżempju biex nispjega ruħi ħafna ħjar bl-Ingliż.
Tkun għamilt il-maġġoranza ta' ħajtek hemm, jiġifieri.
Allura sens naqelbu bl-Ingliż. Għax għandi ħafna nispera Maltin mad-dinja skużawni. Reġa' ħafna nies jinsistu għal-language, għal-lingwa.
Ma normali, għax inti tintegra fis-soċjetà.
U jiena apprezzajt għal-lingwa ħafna u kollox li hu Malti apprezzajtu.
Tajb ħafna. Issa niftħu aktar fuq dal-waqt ħalli tintroduċi l-nifisa Judy. So tell us a bit about you, Judy. So you are Carmelo's daughter.
I am.
Yeah. But tell us a bit more.
Okay. I was born in East London, and then we moved out to Essex, and now we both live up in Lincolnshire.
Okay.
It's in the Midlands, which is a really nice place to live. Obviously, my dad is Maltese, but my mum is English, so we grew up in an English-speaking house. Didn't really have any Maltese friends of my age locally where I've lived, and even now where I live now, I don't have many Maltese friends particularly. Yes, I was born in East London, and I became a legal secretary when I left college. Did that for most of my career. Then I had a few dips at different things. I was a nanny and worked in childcare. And now I work as a support worker for a young lady who actually he's a quarter Maltese. So we have that in common. She has quite a few disabilities, but she's a really lovely lady. So we speak a lot about Malta. She speaks to me in Maltese. We belong to quite a few groups on Facebook, so we share a lot of the history. She tells me about her family and tell her about my family. So yeah.
And I bet you heard a lot from your father about Malta growing up.
Yeah, growing up and in the wartime, obviously with his family and the history of his father and so on. And growing up in Malta, and we've been coming to Malta since I was 8.
Okay.
So, and I'm 59 now, so well over 50 years of coming to Malta. We used to come to Malta every summer for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So during that time, because I was staying with the family, they used to speak a lot of Maltese, so I could pick up a lot and understand a lot. But as time's gone by, with nobody to talk to or to hear it regularly, you lose the knowledge. And I hear words and I think, I know what that means, but I can't remember what it means. So it is quite frustrating not to be able to speak
I can
Maltese.
Imagine. Yeah. And you mentioned even your father's wartime stories.
Yeah.
U inti daw l-istejjer anka ktibtom u xek. Ġifiri għandek ktib, jekk anka tista' turih fil-kamera għal min ikun interessat. Eżatt. From Malta to East London, An Immigrant's Journey. Li huwa ktib dwar l-ġurajja, l-istorja tiegħek, it-traġitt tiegħek minn Malta. Ma ta' 18 sena mbagħad.
Yes.
Erħejta lej East London. Ma nafx jekk tixtejlina xi ħaġa dwaru. Tipo, x'tirrakkonta fih nimmaġina.
Well, when I went to England, funny enough, I had 3 addresses.
Okay.
And the first one, I told the taxi driver, because I landed at Heathrow, I think it was Heathrow, and he gave me the A to Z, as big as this, at the back. You can imagine, you know, I said, I can't read that. He said, I don't know where it is. The second address, he didn't know where it is as well. And then I went to the third address, and I knew the guy well, the family well. And I went and knocked on the door, and he said, well, the only place I can give you is sleep with another 2 guys. I knew them. Well, I know one of them. But the other one was his cousin. So I didn't have nowhere to go. It was the middle of the night. So I accepted and ended up sleeping, 3 of us in a double bed. And I stayed there a few weeks, I think. I don't remember, but a few weeks. And then I moved into Rheims. But I found out that the first address I had was practically a brothel.
Okay.
That's the thing when you emigrate, you know, you take a different path than you think you're going to have. You know what I mean? Because the guy gave me that address. He talk about the Maltese language, spent 2 weeks here in England, and come back, and he was talking English. You know?
Malajr.
And then from there, you know, I struggled to get a job, and I started changing jobs for more money. I think the first job I had is £4.75.
Okay.
And I kept changing, and then I was working, cutting bags, and I wanted to leave because to work outside, and the governor, I said to the governor, I want to leave, and they went, and it was a family business, come back, he says, more money you want? I said, no, I want to work outside. They went again, come back, he said, turn the machine off, and took me to this land. He said, I'm building my factory here. He said, do you want to work here? And I said, yeah. So I went there. They didn't know nothing about building. And in Malta, before I left, I was involved with not nothing big, but so I was really running the show for them. And I had the biggest chance of my life there, because everybody, I was talking to the architect one day, and I don't know what he said, but I said, I just work here. And he said, why don't you start on your own? And I said, where am I going to get the work? He said, I'll give you all the work you want. Now, the thing is, I was maybe 20, a foreigner. He wasn't giving me work, he was taking responsibility of me, you know, banks and...
Mushek.
But I know I didn't. And then they come to do piling. I don't know what piling is.
Le.
Piling is, they do it for foundation.
Sawa.
They dig hole in the ground and do columns in the ground to take the weight.
Okay, alright.
And the foreman see what I was doing, and he offered me a job. So whenever you want a job, come and see me. And I finished the factory, and I happened to meet some of the guys that was working there as it happens, and they were working not far from me, so I went to see him with a job, and started me, and was terrible work. I think it was winter when I started, and no gloves, no protective clothing, not like today. You know, it's
Health and safety.
and you grab a bit of steel when it's cold, and it stick to your hand, and you have to push it with clothes off, because if you touch it with the other hand, you get. And I survived that, and within a year, I started driving a machine, which was very quick. What happened was that one of the driver was sick, and I took over. And normally is the driver and two guys, and I was me and an old boy, and I done as much as we done, three of us, finish earlier. So the driver said, "Next job I have, I put the machine driver," and I went away from home and driven the machine, done very well. When we come back, they put me on a job to be sacked.
Sewa.
Purely, the foreman told me, he said, "You'd better be shut up because you were here for me to sack you."
Ikeċċik forsi.
Because I was the bloke in charge of the labor wanted to sack me. But the foreman who started me said, "No, I want him."
Qabbes għalik iktar.
Yeah, that's why I thought, as I said earlier. And, went all right. And then, after 10 years, they were thinking of making me a foreman for a long while. But I think actually they waited because I had a bit of a name as well. I think they waited till I get married. The minute I got married, they promoted me.
Okay.
And then I was doing small jobs, and I went to do a little job on a big job, massive job. And it was terrible state. There was the negotiating best bed, they wasn't producing. Terrible. They were condemning piles. And I went to do 6 piles, dependent. And the foreman father died, and I was asked to give a hand to the foreman that was given a hand. So, Anyway, the second day I was there was a lot of problem because they condemned the pile. And the director came and the supervisor then to see. And the director went to see the inspector. And the inspector told him to clear his office because he's making his office dirty. That's how bad things were. So they were talking, and he called me over, asked me what's wrong. And I told him what I think one of the things that was wrong. And he said to the Charlie's right, because they used to call me Charlie there. And I said, "I know right, it's all right, don't rub it in." Because it was desperate,
Eżatt.
And then after he come over to me, he said, "If I put you in charge, you think I can improve?" Obviously, I said yes. And I said, "But I want an excuse, because I believe in excuses." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, do something with the bonus, so I have something to work on, you know what I mean?" Anyway, he went and called the drivers. I think there was 8 machines. And they were pleased that I was taken over. And done something with the bonus. They come out and said, "You're in charge tomorrow." And I told them I don't want the foreman that was there. And he said, "How you manage?" I said, "I manage." And made my own setup. Had a word with the guys. Went to see the inspector. And I said to him, because it's supposed to be vertical. And the pile that was in trouble, it wasn't vertical. So it was condemned.
Ġifiri, kellek anka dar-wol illi solvi problemi bħal daw ukoll fis-sens.
Sorry?
Fix-xogħol tiegħek kellek dar-wol li solvi problemi. You had this role of solving
Eventually,
such
yes.
problems.
But that particular time, I told them what was wrong. And the foreman that had a lot of experience found the engineer that never done anything like that, what to do. And that's why I said that was wrong. So I went to see the inspector, and I said I took charge. I said, "From now on, all the casing will be vertical. Below the casing, we just drop in the thing." I said, "Can't guarantee it." And he said, "I'm not Jesus Christ, I'm not perfect either. And that was it.
Mhm.
Everything went well. Within a few days, he used to come in my office, business, to see what we done. Have a cup of tea, coffee, have a chat, and it was funny really because one day I had trouble with the car,
So,
with the air filter, and he said, if you go up the road, I said, you can get one there. And a couple of days asked me, and I said, I got one, I got a trade, because I had the sheet that I can buy trade. I said, can you get me a set of tires, trade? I said, I do better than that. I said, I get you a set of tires. And I phoned the director. Now I got no authority for that. I said, I promised that Clark of West used to call it,
so,
a set of tires. And he asked me how I managed that after the insult he got. And that afternoon there was a set of tires. And so that's the different in the relationship.
aha. U irnexxielek anka tibni daw ir-relazzjonijiet meta mort hemmhekk, jiġifieri pjuttost għandek storja ta' suċċess kważi, fis-sens irnexxejt bħala persuna li ġejt minn
Xejn
Malta.
ħafna. Mbagħad spiċċajna l-ġob, marħaq tajjeb ħafna. Mbagħad wara ftit żmien xram magna ġdida. U kien ġo kbir, mbagħad ġibu hemm. U kellem it-trabu. Ma kellix naqsam magħha jien. U s-supervisor ċempel id-direttur se jagħmel. U l-għada frodu ġi direttur fis-7 nofs. Għetlu xaħat kien buttak mis-siddajin. Għallina għalja come see you, I want you to be a supervisor in London. And I thought it was a joke because,
Mhux hekk?
they were all Londoners. The Londoners, they
mhux
called them Cockneys.
Aha.
I said, with all these Cockneys here, I said, they'll go mad. He said, anyway, he said, come and see me in the office and put me on 6 months on trial. And it went from there. And eventually, I worked for the biggest company at that time, doing groundworks. And if there was any problem, our problem, they used to send me. And sometimes I went even for other people's problems.
Aha.
Like the Thames Barrier. You know the Thames Barrier in London?
No.
Well, they done a barrier, so they stopped the tide flooding London.
So, okay.
And when they were finishing, they had a problem. And they called my company, maybe other companies as well, how to get over it. And me and the director went. And I proposed what we can do to help them. And I told them that we have to manufacture plants. And they gave us the money because they wanted, when they say go, we'll be ready. They gave us the money to manufacture the plant, but they never used us. And I think what they done is they done my idea, done that with what they were going to do originally. I believe that's what they done. But, we made them an impression on the governor there because they gave us 2 or 3 jobs after.
Yeah.
After that, yes.
Bqajt, fis-sens. Bqajt dejjem tikber. Anka
Yeah,
bħala-
but I didn't have big position, but personally, I had a lot of respect because I didn't want a big position because the way bigger position it would be what they call construction manager, which means being in charge from beginning
Ma ġewx hekk.
from beginning to end of a job, which I was, but it involved a lot of writing and that wasn't my sort of brief. I hated writing. I wrote 2 books now, but I hated writing. Matter of fact, a guy took over the area and we're having a meeting, about 14 of us, and he asked me to write him a memo how we're going to go into a job. And I said, didn't anybody tell you that I don't write? And it was funny really because he looked at the manager and the manager went, and that was the end of it.
Aha.
And then he became managing director, this guy. And we used to have progress development meeting every about 3 months. He always made me sit next to him. And he used to tell the others, quite high. One of them was a professor. He used to say, as long as you tell me what you think. Yeah, never asked me to try to remember again.
Grazzi, daw huwa tip ta' rakkonti, issa nibnu naqafu manka fil-tieni parti. Skużani kellim wafqek għax il-ħin qed
Okay.
Aħna nkunu magħkom dal-waqt, ħanaddu ftit reklami u mbagħad wara minn daw l-istejjer ħanfhmu wkoll x'reazzjoni anke b'Ġuli ma' Malta tisma' daw l-istejjer jew tikber u anke eventwalment ukoll mal-lingwa. Nkunu magħkom dal-waqt.
Top il-full ma' Bradley Kakija.
Merħba lura għal Top il-Full. Fl-episodju tal-lum qegħdin ma' żewġ persuni li jgħixu f'diaspora Maltija. Għandna lil Carmelo Micallef u l-Ġuli Brown Micallef. Carmelo twilet Malta ta' 18 sena telaq lejn l-Ingilterra. Fl-ewwel parti tal-programm anke tagħna xi rakkonti mill-esperjenza tiegħu l-ewwel snin tiegħu fl-Ingilterra u xi ħaġa li laqtitni ħafna hija hemm sens ta' perseveranza inti mort hemmhekk u għamilt anke nejn għalik innifsek u kbirt anke f'dil komunità ġdida x'mhijiex faċli inti minn Malta tmur f'daqqa waħda f'pajjiż daqshekk kbir. Ma fuq dik nixtaqt nibni. I wanted to ask you, Julie, hearing these stories growing up, I'm sure you heard them many times.
Yeah.
Hearing these stories, how did that shape your perception of your father and his journey, and even of maybe of Malta and when he would maybe recount stories from Malta like he did closer to the beginning?
I think growing up, because my dad was an immigrant in Malta, we heard lots of stories of prejudice.
Yes.
Because obviously being Maltese, he had a very nice car when he was younger, and the police would often tell them, they would stop his car and they'd tell them that his car stuck out like a sore thumb, and that they would try and, they would be always on the lookout to catch him out. And obviously, as he mentioned earlier, in London in those days there was a lot of prejudice, and there were signs, as he said, on places where they wouldn't board perhaps Irish people and any ethnic people, and it said dogs as well. So we kind of grew up understanding that he had a very difficult time in England because of being an immigrant, and obviously that's something that continues today for immigrants as well. It's just a big issue in England, but obviously we spent a lot of time in Malta being younger. He would tell stories about work. He's very, very passionate about his work. He worked there for a long time and he achieved a good standard of job as well, and he is very proud of what he achieved in that job, and he often tells stories of growing up and ghost stories from his brother and living in the house. So he's got lots and lots of stories to tell, as you say, that we've heard all over the years.
And what relationship did you build with Malta from those stories as well?
Always had a huge love for Malta. Always very, very proud of being part Maltese. I tell everybody instantly. I know it's silly, but I always have jewellery. I've got Maltese cross on my necklace, on my ring. I even toyed with the idea of getting a tattoo, but he wouldn't like that. But because I think I like to try and, even though I now have gone grey, so I don't look as Maltese as I did, I like to be identified as being part Maltese. So I like just the fact that something visible, people might see that I wear that with pride. I am on Facebook and I share lots of things about Malta on Facebook, tell people about Malta and events, and actually when sometimes I come to Malta on my own. I've met Dad over here and things like that, and I get in the minibus from the airport and start telling people of the places to go, and they say to me, you should be a tour guide, because I'm always I almost feel like I try to sell Malta to people, because I feel that passionately about it.
And what's your relationship with the language? As in, I know when we talked, you said you want to learn it.
Yeah.
How
So
would you explain that?
as I say, when we used to come for 3 weeks at a time, I could pick it up younger as well. I could pick it up quite a lot and understand an awful lot. And as I say, in time with Dad had a lot of Maltese friends, so we would go and visit them. So I'd hear the language. But as I obviously left home, and that relationship with my dad's friends kind of disappeared as I didn't see them anymore. So I've tried to learn it through a few apps, but they just aren't really that easy to do. There is a group on Facebook, Maltese in Wales, and they've actually started Maltese lessons, but of course they're in Wales, and that's many miles away. So I can understand a lot more than I can speak. I can read Maltese, but I don't know what I'm reading, which is bizarre because I understand the makeup of the language and the and how you read the letters. So, but I'd love to be able to speak Maltese, and I feel quite sad that that I am not able to. And then Dad every now and then slips into Maltese while we're talking, and I say to him, "You're speaking Maltese, Dad." So. It would be lovely if I could speak Maltese. So that's something I'm going to try and find out about when I get back, see if there is any online that I can try and learn through.
Carmelo, meta kienu qed jikbru tfal, kont tkellimhom bil-Malti jew?
I try to, and I mean, it's the things I used to do. I used to always try to talk to them where we're eating, where I got the full attention. And the other thing is, when they were in the car with me, I tried to teach them.
Okay.
But being as my wife was English, it's a bit difficult.
U kontu fl-Ingilterra fl-aħħar mill-aħħar.
Yeah. But coming back to me about interactive with Maltese, I used to live in a rough area, and I didn't used to mix much with Maltese. I used to go there Sunday lunchtime and have lunch, but one time there was a Maltese guy that opposite me, and he insisted, he had a Maltese team, he insisted that I be their manager. But I was just bought a house for story, and I was doing it up. But eventually I went and been there, and I think I done 2 seasons. Their manager, because I used to play, as I said, here, and they were all amateurs. And but apart from that, I never sort of interacted. But whenever I talk to somebody, I always talk Maltese. As a matter of fact, I spoke to a friend of mine not long ago. He's dead now, and I said, "You're the only person I speak Maltese with." And his brother was there as well. I used to speak to his brother as well, Maltese. But between them, obviously, they spoke English because their wives was English. And the children.
Kull ċans li kellek isek kont tużaħ il-Malti, ma fl-istessin ma kellekx ħafna ċansijiet.
Ma Yeah, I mean, I'm very fond of Malta. Because although I already sort of lived 4 years from school to immigrating, I was quite active. Played the band, tried to turn the band, played the guitar, played football. So I wasn't sort of hiding anywhere. So I had a lot of friends. Matter of fact, 12 guys come to the airport with me, not my mother. Well, I was a messenger once in Valletta, the time the immigrants, and I used to go delivering to Duana, and the people crying and screaming, and I didn't want that, so.
Mxek.
Yeah.
Diffiċli u tara. Diffiċli tara l-uliedek, eżempju.
Yeah, it used to be, crying and screaming, and because obviously Australia was sort of one way in it. I mean, England was.
Għax iktar qrib ukoll tal-lura.
Yeah, I mean, we used to come here with 4 children. Every year, nearly 3 weeks. I had a good job, money-wise, and you couldn't do that from Australia.
Eżatt.
3 weeks to get here.
Tispiċa tagħmel 9 ġimgħat għax tagħmel 3 ġimgħat tivvjaġġa. 3 ġimgħat u 3 ġimgħat tivvjaġġa lura. Sewa, u meta Intu tikber anka il-lingwa meta tirrabja eżempju, jew meta taqbiżlek.
Ġieli ta' bizli.
L-immaġina.
Mill-uftin ma nafx ma minn kont. U kiena ġeja karozza marruwix, u għetlu għarem.
Toħroġlok, imma l-Ingilterra u kol toħroġlok bil-Malti.
Għabdin l-Ingilterra kienet,
L-Ingilterra stess.
Le, toħroġ, nistanajt l-lingwa l-lingwa għada Maltija di. Għax jena dajem, ġemma s-sanna għaddit, ġejna 5 darbiet għandu. 5 times we come last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
5 times,
yeah.
okay.
So, I come here quite often, always.
Allura jisek dejjem tibqa terġa' tisimgħu.
Kultant jgħidu l-int minn għadex.
Għandek naqa.
Ma nitħaddex bil-politin.
U le, politu kol.
Insomma, ma għax jina nasseb għalek jinsewa l-lingwa. Għax jipruvaw jisprezjonaw impression people. I don't have to impression anybody.
U le, mxek.
Even at work, people used to, I never wore a suit at work. I used to wear a tie because of sort of having to. But my suit was when I start talking, you know? I mean, I went to a meeting a couple of times where sort of looked at me, looked at the person I was with, as if what he's doing here, you know, because sometimes it's a bit secretive. And I said to them myself, you know, you'll wait a minute. I mean, one meeting we went and it was secretive. And he looked at me, and the guy said, Charlie's the nuts and bolts of the company. And then when they finished, I asked a question. I love asking questions. I tell my daughter, if I ask a stupid question, don't answer it. So I asked the question, and that meeting lasted another 3/4 of an hour. Because what I asked the question, they never thought of it. You know. So I gave him the question, I gave him the answer after. But it took him 3 hours to discuss it.
Yeah. Julie, when you even mentioned to me that there are sort of Maltese groups that meet up.
Yes.
So what's that usually like?
So there's a group called Maltese Culture Movement, and that's based in London.
Yeah.
That's based in London, and they put on in Imnaria. They do an event for Imnaria. They do an event for Independence as well.
Okay.
Plus other meetings through the year. We belong to a group, Maltese in the Midlands, and they did. I wrote it down actually. Naidu Kelma, they did that, but we missed both of them. And then they have meetings where they all meet in a pub and have a meal together. So that's really lovely. Then there's also Maltese in Lincolnshire and Yorkshire.
Okay.
And the guy that runs that puts on a meet in an Italian restaurant where they all meet up. But usually there's about 20 or 30 people that all get together. It's always a really lovely atmosphere, and everybody talks as if they know each other very well, and yet they're actually strangers. And then they bring freebies as well, and I do like a good freebie. So we often get a pen or something. So they're really good because that brings the whole community together from lots of different areas, lots of different walks of life, and everybody's all as equal, and they're really good. They've suggested having a meet-up where people bring Maltese food with them.
Okay.
Because obviously Maltese love our food. So they're talking about doing that where we can come and bring food together. We're quite lucky actually because we also have the man that runs the Yorkshire Facebook page actually has a business, and he makes pastizzi and figoli and all that kind of thing, and he ships them all around the UK.
Okay.
So we can get Maltese food as well, which is really good. But yeah, so the Facebook groups are really good. There's often posts on there. They're informative. That's where I found out about yours actually, in the Maltese Culture Movement, and I've shared that in some of the other groups. So yeah, it's really good to know that there is that community.
Yes.
Although we're widespread, everyone gets together about 3 or 4 times a year, so you can have that link with Maltese and with the heritage.
And is that a space for you maybe to practice the language or to hear the language?
I listen. Yes, I like to listen. I'm quite happy because I've grown up. Obviously, when we came to Malta as a family, we would stay with my nan. and my uncle lived there as well, and my aunt lived in an adjoining house. So the whole family would always be together in the kitchen or in the sitting area, and would obviously be talking Maltese. So I've grown up sitting and listening to Maltese. So I don't have a problem when we go out and if there's Maltese going on, because I'm used to it, and I like listening to it because I like to challenge myself to see what I can understand and try and work out what the conversation is about. So so I do have a great interest in it. But yeah.
And are there any maybe nieces or nephews or your children? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have my brother's children, I believe, have tried to learn, and my sister's daughter, I believe, has also tried to learn. I'm not sure if I think one of my daughters has looked at it a bit, but I feel like in a way that this next generation down, they don't have the same connections as we had, because obviously we spent so much, we were directly involved because of Dad being Maltese, and so we spent a lot of time with Maltese people, whereas it's diluted now, so their friendships to meet Maltese people it's very difficult for them to meet anyone of their age.
I think it's very normal, as in they are now in the third generation, and they're basically all they know is England and so. But my daughters, excuse me, my nieces and nephews all love Malta as well, and my youngest daughter's particularly proud of being Maltese. My eldest daughter's a bit more cool, but but the younger one is very passionate about being Maltese as well. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Great. Carmelo, l-Ingliż inti meta tlajt kont diġà tafu?
Yeah, kent, għax ma kien naħdem, kien wieħed ta' Stiklad. Ieħor kien kaptan fl-army u kien hemm Scottish commander. And it was tribal, believe it or not. They both had their own men, and here I am in the middle. But the Scotchmen liked me, and obviously I was good worker or whatever, and it was very tribal, believe it or not. So when I went to England, it was racial, it wasn't new. Yes, so I come to write this first book because I used to tell people about the war and my adventures, and people kept telling me, why don't you write a book? And I thought to write a book, but then I was here with one of the sons, and his wife said, write short stories. And then I thought, well, yeah, I can write. And that's how I wrote the first book. And then I thought I'd write another book, which is on the way to be published, called From Malta to Laredo.
Okay.
Quite an adventure. And
film Arab li kont. Għandek ħafna adventures tirrakkonta.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I unintentionally, it's part of my life. For instance, the peasant boy met the American ambassador, which is a big step.
Yes.
And the horses was the main thing. And one of them, horse in the village, was good runner, and the other one was a good looking horse. And I had two horses like that in my life, but it's only come to me lately. So in a way, unintentionally, it's part of my living as well. Because my uncle used to show a horse, and I think he won 3 times. They used to win a palio. They used to give it to St. Julian. And this fast horse, I had occasion with it. A bloke near us used to sell food for animals. A bloke wanted some food, didn't have nobody to take the horse back. So they forced me to get the horse back. And as I was going back, the horse bolted for some reason. Well, I know why, but there was a place where they said there was a ghost. And when we come to this place, the horse went to the other side of the road and walked slow and then opened up. with me jumping on the cart. And I don't know whether that's subconscious or... So it got part of
ħafna
me.
avventuri
Yeah.
zbieħ.
And, you know, I quite a few holidays. I used to bring the children here young,
Aha.
mostly to get to know my family. Because again, you know, I like
Mhux hekk.
Maltese tradition. And I succeeded because they were more friendly with my family than my wife's family. They never think of them. Or,
Aha.
so that succeeded. And then, you know, I started going different holidays. I love coach holidays. Went down, took big tours of America. I used to go on single holidays, which was good, just for company, not in. Because when you need when you want company, you got it, and when you don't want company, you don't got. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Went quite a few cruises, so.
Dort mhux ħażin.
Yeah.
Imma laqwa naħseb tibqa' li tiġi Malta nimmaġin.
Malta, as I said, we come 5 times. One, unfortunately, my brother died, and we come for the funeral. We come for a cruise. Got a cruise from here.
Issa ġejtu għal teach.
Sorry?
Ġejtu għal teach for a family wedding now?
This time, yes.
This time?
Yeah. Complicated holiday this time.
So a bit of...
Because I was coming for folk music.
Okay.
Mayana Feast. I've been trying to come for ages. And last year we got the wrong dates. My daughter did the job.
It wasn't my fault.
And the year before I went to wedding in Ireland for the whole weekend. I've been trying to come, but this year I hope I succeed.
Fil-fatt, this weekend is
Coming.
Festana. There's going to be the festival.
Yeah,
exactly.
not this weekend, next weekend.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I hope I go to that.
Tajab ħafna. U meta xa tisaqsik fil-sens fil-qosor, meta xa tisaqsik jekk tħossok xiktar Ingliż jew Malti f'dal punt ta' ħajtek? Jisaqsik minn fejn inti?
Split, no, they don't mix.
Mix.
England played Malta a while ago. And I think it was for the World Cup. So I wanted Malta to do well. But obviously, that's all you can expect. And I wanted England to win. You know, no, I mean, I'm blue as an English person. You support the royal family. Because don't forget, I learned about the British Empire more than the average English person.
Mhux
That time.
hekk?
So that time it was all the English Empire. So I grew up with it. Yeah, with football. Obviously, as I said, there was no hope of Malta winning. We went to see them in Wembley not long ago. The whole family went. Did you go?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, my boy and Joe went.
Wembley minn lab jiġifier Malta.
Malta against England.
Ingilterra.
It was a sort of holiday for the Maltese, because we sat with them.
Emmek fej poġġejt ki allura, fuq l-imnaħa poġġejt.
Mal-Maltino.
Mal-Maltino. Xira. Tajab ħafna. U Julie, is there a version of yourself, maybe, that speaks Maltese, and how would you imagine that?
Very strange, because actually last night I didn't sleep very well last night for whatever reason, but I dreamt and in my dream I was talking Maltese, and I am sure it was proper Maltese, so it's deep in there somewhere. I'm sure it just needs to be brought out. But I'd like, the ideal me would have come and lived in Malta. I wanted to come and stay with my aunt that lived in San Juan, that I said was adjoining to my nan. I always had this hope that I was going to come to Malta for about 6 months and live with my aunt, then I could learn the language and live as a proper Maltese person. But unfortunately it didn't ever happen. I was working, and then unfortunately she had a road accident and passed away, so it was never able to happen. But yeah, I still hope that sometime I will learn Maltese. And obviously as Dad's getting older now, I wonder if he might actually slip into Maltese more, so then I think I need to try and speak to him and understand more with what he's saying. So so the ideal me would be living in Malta, speaking Maltese.
I think I can speak for most of our listeners that I would count you as a Maltese person as well.
Grazie ħafna.
Even though, as in, we have to understand that these people like you are growing up far from Malta, and your only connection is, as in you visit regularly, but your only connection at the end of the day is your father, who left Malta now quite a few years ago, about 8 years ago, I think now. You left permanently from Malta. 73.
Yeah.
Which
And I think the problem we have is because Malta is small and far away from England, we have lots of things to do with France and Germany and all of the European countries, but because Malta is small, it's kind of almost insignificant. And so a lot of people, in fact, people in England haven't heard of Malta. I phoned up my phone provider about coming to Malta, and I said I was coming to Malta, and he said, "Is Malta in Spain?" I said, "No, Malta is in Malta." So unfortunately, it's not very well known on the streets, if you like, in England.
But it's nice to hear there are still these movements,
yes,
even in the
and
UK.
that's why I share a lot of stuff on Facebook, just to bring people's awareness.
And the thing about that is that sometimes it preserves more than certain things than they are preserved here in Malta, because in Malta it develops, it changes, but communities away from Malta, since they're cut off, they tend to preserve a bit more.
I mean, you mentioned Australia, and there's a lady I follow called Carmen the Maltese. So she's an Australian lady, but she mimics being an old lady, Maltese lady, and she's very, very funny. But so through that, I get to see the fact that in Australia there is a very big Maltese community and following, so it's just lovely to see that far from Malta, it's still keeping the spirit alive, as it were.
When I was younger, I remember performers like Joe Micallef, for example, and there was a program as well for the Maltese in Australia. It was called Waltzing Matilda, and that I remember watching growing up, these big communities of people just enjoying being Maltese, but far from home.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
right.
No, they got good young community, bands and feast.
They do feast as well.
No, we got nothing like that. Although they do the Victoria feast, and they get a procession in the road, and one of the main thoroughfares, they get permission. We went to her a couple of times, to them a couple of times. So they try, but I was talking to the people that run the Maltese movement once, and she said the trouble is that being so near to Malta, people are split. They don't depend on the same as me, you know. I mean, I come to Malta just
because you can come frequently. You can come, so we're not cut off totally.
And I think that is the problem, really.
So
they got
farther away
in England. But in the last few years, maybe in the last 4, I mean, the Maltese in Lincolnshire has all just started.
Yeah.
And the Midland just started.
Yeah.
There is quite a big push now
a
to
resurgence
get the Maltese in England and Scotland together. And that started in less than 5 years ago.
Okay.
So it's growing. And I mean, when I do barbecue and something, I do Maltese food. And last one I done laham al-forn.
So.
And the big dish, and it disappeared.
Important.
And when I done hot zaid, they love it. I have to hide it because, well, I don't do a few dishes, but the problem is, when you get the dish out, they keep eating it. So if somebody's late, it'll be gone. So I have to hide it. So something left for the latecomers. But no, it's
L-mħabba l-ikel tibqa.
no, this is English people.
English people.
English people.
Okay.
I mean, my daughter was going with the doctor once, a more English doctor, and brought her another doctor, which she never mixed with Maltese, and I had hot zaid, I think, and she loved it, you know.
Tangent.
Yeah, many people that are into Maltese and love Maltese.
My friends love his cooking, don't they? My two friends, Julia and Lynn, love his cooking, and she always asks him to cook the potatoes in the oven because she loves it so much. She just always tells everybody about how lovely it is as well. So even we get English people interested in Maltese food, which is really good too.
Yeah, well, one woman.
Nibdew nagħlqu il-ħin qed itir. Tagħmel kważi. Tal-aħħar.
And I love it too as well. I still love cooking.
Tajb ħafna.
Yeah, I'm going to do one
U jżommok ma' Malta wkoll għax qed
Yes,
issajr
yeah,
li fakrek f'Malta.
yeah.
Mela, ħajkonna nagħlqu, we have to close because time flew by and we're a bit over, so sorry. Sorry, Josef. So thank you very much
Thank
both for finding the time to come here during your trip.
Thank you for inviting us.
And thank you for your stories and for sharing your memories with us as well, and thank you for sharing your
Thank you very
experience
much.
with the language
Thank you.
and with Malta. Mela, dak kien top il-full. Illum diskutejna il-Maltin fid-diaspora. Kanna manna l-Carmelo Micallef u l-Julie Brown Micallef. Grazzi ħafna lilhom, grazzi ħafna l-Josef li għacċerta li nidru ninstamaw kemm jista' jkun sbieħ. Jiena nkun magħkom il-ġimgħa d-dieħla sadattant ħajr. Grazzi u thank you. Saħħa, ciao u bye.
Top il-full ma' Bradley Kakija.